I'm a believer in the old prophecies, the Old Testament, Book of Revelations, Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce, the Great Pyramid, Mayans. They all seem to indicate that this particular age, this cycle of evolution on Earth, was coming towards a finale.
And many people aren't going to make it. Matter of fact, I've heard estimates where the population of 6 billion is going to be shaved down to 500 million.
I'm a doctor. I'm pretty much a pacifist. I don't look for trouble when trouble comes. At this point, I'm ready to go to the hole in the ground and let it pass over.
This father and son insist their identities remain an absolute secret because they have something to hide. It's a hole they've dug, an underground refuge.
This family is meant to be protected, and we've taken the necessary steps to ensure that we are going to be protected.
The threats that may drive this father and son underground go from disaster inflicted by Mother Nature to destruction unleashed by an act of man, such as a nuclear war.
I feel the threat is almost beyond the scope of the average human mind to comprehend. I mean, are we so arrogant in this country that we think that nobody wants to take us out? We're the #1 target in this world.
The United States Central Intelligence Agency estimates that by the year 2000, over 20 countries will have long-range ballistic missile capabilities. And today, even smaller countries seek to become nuclear superpowers. The designer of an underground fiberglass shelter, Walton McCarthy, explains.
We had an opportunity to secure the unemployed nuclear scientists from the Soviet Union. We had that opportunity, and we blew it. And they went to the Middle Eastern countries, and I don't think they're working on refrigerators. We know that, in fact, there are some nuclear weapons missing out there. And we know now that a nuclear weapon can be delivered to a site in a child's day pack and remotely detonated. There's a whole nuclear black market, all the ingredients, uranium, plutonium, it's all out there. It's just a matter of time.
And I'm not going to take the defeatist attitude that we're doomed.
So with all these reasons in mind, we've gone ahead with this underground shelter. We plan on taking care of ourselves. We want to be sovereign.
They have buried their means of survival. A fiberglass bomb shelter in a remote and secret location, hidden away from prying eyes. And when this father and son feel that time may be running out, they plan to lead their family down into the ground where a year's stockpile of food and water awaits them.
The modern disaster shelter was designed for not only bombs or some type of exploding device falling on it, but it's designed for gunfire, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, nuclear environments, chemical environments, and biological environments.
If there are outside intruders that want to break in, I mean, this thing is grenade-proof.
If someone tries to force water or flammable liquids into the air manifolds, they can turn the valves and shut that off. And they're also baffled, so the fluid actually can't go around the corner. If someone tries to drive a car over it, locking those shelters in, we have a 6-ton screw jack that can lift 6 tons of debris off the hatch. There's nothing to attach onto the entranceway. There's no hooks or anything that someone could try and hook a cable onto. There's a whole list of ways of resisting intruders trying to break into it.
Another way to defend against intruders is to hide from them. Once these fiberglass shelters have been buried and the natural vegetation has grown back, they can almost defy detection.
A lot of people do a great job of camouflaging it. It's so good that they can't find it, and they forget where it is. And the only way that I know of to find it is to go get a metal detector and go out there and try and hunt for it. I mean, some of these people do a really elaborate job.
Drawing upon the technology of prefabricated housing, modern bomb shelters can be manufactured in factories, then trucked over back roads to remote sites. Once a hole has been excavated, these modular units are lowered into place and then assembled. Within hours, they are covered with earth.
It has a water tank, it has normal lighting, it's got a manual flush-up toilet, it's equipped with carbon to filter out the radioactive iodine gas from a nuclear weapon and to filter out the chemical agents from chemical warfare and the biological agents.
While the United States abandoned its shelter program in the late 1960s, the rest of the world continued to prepare for war.
We are one of the few industrialized countries that does not provide sheltering for our people. In Sweden and Switzerland, for example, it's a building code requirement. China, North Korea, Japan is certainly building now. If the world is so safe, why are they doing this? In this country, we don't think about disasters. We don't plan for them. We assume we're safe until circumstances prove us wrong. That's the American culture.
So in the United States, who feels threatened enough to purchase a shelter?
If there's one area in the country that I'd say is good for us, that would be Washington, D.C. area. We've sent out an order for 20 at one time in Washington, D.C., or in the outskirts.
I don't know where they are putting them, but I'm sure they're putting them in a secure place for themselves and their families.
People in Washington know exactly what's going on. They know what's coming.
You have to keep in mind, we've had over 15,000 wars since the beginning of recorded history. And to say that we're not going to have another war is to say that human nature has changed.
There isn't any question in our minds that we're going to need this. The question is when. Better to be 5 years too early than one day too late.